So, listen, we need to talk about white Jesus. Not to hate, to heal. Because this image, this blonde haired, blue eyed, soft skinned man in flowing robes, that's not history. That's propaganda. And the question we have to ask is, why was that version created? And who did it serve? We'll start with the history and the Renaissance art. Now, the image of a white Jesus wasn't a mistake. It was a strategic rebrand. In the 1400s and the 1500s, during the European Renaissance, artists like Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci started painting Jesus as European. Pale skin, delicate features, light brown or even golden hair. But why? Why? I'll answer that. It was because those artists were funded by the Catholic Church and European elites who needed a God that looked like them. And if God looked like them, well, that gave their race a divine image. That wasn't faith. That was politics. That was empire building. Now fast forward to colonization. Looking at colonialism and control. White European powers spread across Africa, the Americas, and Asia, and they brought two things with them: a flag and a Bible. And in that Bible, they placed a white Jesus wrapped in obedience, submission, and quote, divine order, end quote. That image was used to pacify enslaved people, to justify slavery, to tell colonized black and brown folks that God looked like their oppressor. And that obedience to the oppressor, or to that oppressor, was holy. That is not the gospel. That's abuse. You look at the slaveholder Christianity versus the real gospel. Now, enslavers in America literally cut out parts of the Bible before letting enslaved Africans read it, if they knew how to read, right? At least they gave it to the ones that knew how to read. That way they could, tell it to the other people. Anyway, Nat Turner's Revolution is a great depiction of that, by the way. If you have a HBO Max, it's on there, so check it out. I might have to watch that today. Anyway, enslavers in America literally cut out parts of the Bible before letting enslaved Africans read it. Anything about liberation? Gone. Anything about Moses leading people out of captivity? Removed. What remained? Passages about obeying your master, about suffering quietly, about accepting your position. That's not faith. That's spiritual manipulation. That's how white Jesus became a weapon, not a savior. And the cost of a lie is great. And when white Jesus shows up in your church, in your textbooks, in your grandma's living room, it does something to you, especially to my African people, the diaspora, who believe in that. It tells you that divinity doesn't look like you. that the face of Adonai, the face of God, is white, and everything else is, quote, lesser, end quote. That messes with your spirit. That's colonization of the soul. And we weren't created to be controlled in that way, or to be colonized. So we have to reclaim the truth. Here's the good news. We're reclaiming it. We're pulling Jesus out of empire's grip. Come on, brother. Because Jesus wasn't white. He wasn't European. He was a brown-skinned, Afro-Asiatic, revolutionary Jew who stood against oppression, not with it. The real Jesus flipped tables. He loved the outcast. He came from the margins, not the palace. And we're reclaiming that, piece by piece. So yeah, white Jesus was a lie. Yet the truth, the real Jesus, he's still here. And he's not lost. He's just been buried. So let's dig him back up in history, in spirit, in us. Drop a comment. Tell me what images of Jesus you grew up with and how it feels to see him differently now. We're doing this together. Let's talk about it.